Alright, welcome back to another one of the RPG combat tutorial series, fantasy combat tutorial, or whatever you want to call it. And today we will be continuing with the AI. There are still plenty of videos left with AI stuff. I'm not like doing it basically, as you can see. I'm gonna set it up properly like I've done in my own personal project. It's gonna be nice in the end. It might seem like we're doing lots of boring stuff right now, but it's gonna all come together, I promise. So we're gonna start with the modularity, because right now we set up like everything inside of the AI instance. What we want to do is basically we want to have lots of variables or structures in our master AI, and then when we do a child instance of this one, we just want to set all the variables and the character will turn out like as a completely new character, instead of us manually setting the blend space inside of the character all the time. As you can see from the last video, I changed the AI because the gruntling that we used before this one, it's so horribly ugly, so I can't bear to look at it, so I don't want to use that at all. So I'm gonna close down all of that, and I'm gonna never open that folder with him again. And instead I have this troll enemy. The setup is exactly the same apart from one thing. So if we open up the blend space of the troll, I realized I set it up a little bit wrong before. So what we want to do here is we don't want to have a minimum of 200 or minus 200. We want to have speed minimum 0, because that's 0. And the speed can still be 200. It's all max speed for this one because the troll didn't have a run animation, so I'm just going to do him walking. And the rotation is still going to be the same, minus 100. So basically, as you can see here, we have him strafing and walking backwards. So this is backward, strafing, forward, strafing, backward. And the idle. And he had all of these animations, so that's nice, so we don't have to change anything. So that's pretty much the only thing I changed, is the blend space. And so that's fine for now. So we are gonna start with the boring variable stuff. So what do we need here basically? What we do need is we need a reference to the let's just do a new folder called enums and structs. So basically what we need here is we need a blueprint structure. This is gonna be the main structure. So this is gonna be called S enemy details. So this is gonna hold all variables basically for our enemies. We need another one, a blueprint structure called S underscore weapon details, attack details, S underscore attack details, and we need another blueprint structure called S is for structure, movement details. And we're going to do another one. It's going to be called S behavior details. Okay, so that's it for now. We're going to set up a lot of different, we're going to set this up differently, and obviously this is a tutorial, so I'm gonna show you how I do it, how I work with the structures and things like that for modularity. Obviously you will have to add your own things that you need I'm just showing you the basic way that I think, but hopefully you will understand. So the enemy details will contain, first it will contain the name of our AI. So that we don't need, or it can be a string. And maybe description. I'm not gonna do description, I don't care. We could do description, you could do anything. We're just gonna do the name for now. Actually, we're also gonna do another one called s_stat details. Yeah. So in our enemy details, we're gonna, the first thing we need is s_stat details, and it's gonna be of the type stat details that we just made. We're gonna do the s_movement details, which is gonna be the s_move. Moveset details is from the player, so I should probably call this player, but I'm gonna do movement details for the AI. I'm gonna, just to avoid confusion, AI movement details, AI attack details, AI behavior details. And I probably don't need to separate the stats, to be honest. I'm probably gonna end up using the same for the player anyway, but I just like to completely separate the player and the AI just to keep it easy in my head. You do you. Yeah, why not? There we go. Now we are completely sure, so that we have them separated. We are also gonna do s_behavior details. It's gonna be behavior details. I'm probably gonna move out the behavior to have it early, and then s_attack details, AI attack details. Perfect. So there we have a few structures. So let's see. First we have the behavior details. That's the or what is it? Stat details. So what are gonna be our stat details? The first is gonna be max HP. It's gonna be a float. We don't need current HP. Let's do max HP. And obviously later we can do like armor, defense, agility, strength, whatnot, mana, yada yada yada. The only thing we need for now is the max HP. We need our movement details, or actually behavior details is first. And the only behavior we actually have implemented is strafing, or no, not strafing, roaming. So is this AI gonna be roaming around, or is it gonna be stationary? But we're gonna add different behaviors later as well. And we're gonna hold off for the attack details until we do the attacks. For now, we're gonna do movement. And movement is gonna be max run speed, which is gonna be a float. Max walk speed, it's gonna be a float. It's two different ones because some AI might be able to run and also walk. So maybe we'll do like random behavior, like sometimes when he's chasing, or maybe if he's like a certain distance from the player, he's gonna run to catch up, but if he's close, he's gonna walk or something like that. You can do different ways. Max run speed, max walk speed. We need the blend space which is going to be a blend space. So what blend space of the character using? I think that's it for now. So yeah, I think that's going to be it for now. So if we go into our master AI now, so we want to add a variable, and this variable that we are adding here is going to be s enemy details, and it's going to be called s enemy what did I call it? S AI enemy details, sorry. AI enemy details. So as you can see now, if we compile everything, we have all these details here. So on all the instances, we're just gonna fill stuff out here, and then the AI will be done. So you don't have to do it like manually with, or it's still gonna be some manual work, but not with every, not like set it up from scratch. You just basically need to set all the things here, and it's gonna be fine. The logic from the master AI will take over. But this is assuming you are using the same skeleton. Actually, it's not. You're still, what you're gonna need to set up is still, if you are having, so if you're using the same skeleton, basically, if all our AI were using the epic skeleton, most in my personal project, like most of my AI is using this, the epic skeleton. So then I don't need to mess around with like different troll animation blueprints. They're all just gonna be the same master AI animation blueprint. So then I truly only need to set the skeletal mesh here, because all of the skeletal meshes that I'm using are the epic skeleton, so they can all use the same animation blueprint. So the only thing that I'm actually changing in my different instances of the AI is the skeleton. Here, since we're using different skeletons, we're gonna need to set up the different animation blueprints and things, but it's still not that much. And we can still, it's still gonna be better to do it this way. So basically, I would like to show you how to do that. I'm probably gonna do like an AI with the epic skeleton as well, so you can see how I would do that. But yeah, it's still gonna be easy to do it like this. You will see why. So in our master AI, we have this one, and actually, you know what we could do? In the master AI, and can't you do it like this? We have the begin play mesh. I'm just gonna see if that works. Anim class. 1 second, let me pause. Alright, yeah, that seemed to work. So we're actually gonna add, if we go back into our enums and structs, we're actually gonna go to our movement details. We're gonna create a new one called animation blueprints. So we can actually do this even easier. So we're gonna specify what animation blueprint we actually use here. That should probably be first. Okay. Okay, let's see. Well, master AI animation blueprints. Let's see if it worked with, because it worked with the a variable, with just a variable. So I'm gonna see if I can do it like this. Isn't there like a general? Why are they all specific? So I'm gonna try to use master AI animation blueprints, and we're gonna do a class reference because the class should be the same. I'm not entirely sure how this works. If this doesn't work, I have another way. So in the master AI, so we're gonna set up all the different things here, and most of them we're probably gonna do a function for this actually. So let's do a function called setup AI. So here's like on the start, this function will basically set up all the variables. So what do we need to do? We need to get the enemy details, and we're gonna break the AI enemy details. Perfect. And we have this set anim instance class. That's the thing I'm most interested in now. So basically I'm just gonna start by seeing if this works. So from the movement details, we're gonna break the movement details, and we have the animation blueprint class that we just set up. So we're just gonna plug that in, and we're just gonna start by seeing if that works. And on the begin play, we're gonna call setup AI. And we need to go into our troll enemy, go into our instance, and in our movement details, we have our animation blueprint here. So we're gonna use the, no, because it is a class for that specific one. Okay. This works, so we will do so in our movement details, remove this one. I'm not sure, maybe I'm just tired or something. I feel like I should find a general animation blueprint. I feel like I should find a general animation blueprint here. Anim class, maybe. Anim instance. Let's just see if it works with anim instance. I'm not sure it does, but you get to see some trial and error here, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Setup AI. Refresh this one. Can we plug this in? We can plug it in, so let's see if that works. We might be onto something here. Yeah, there we go. So anim instance is the variable that we were looking for. This should work. Yeah, there we go. So just to recap, because I think I moved quite fast here maybe. So basically what we did was, in our movement details, we made a variable called animation blueprint. So that's what animation blueprint is this character gonna be using. And it's of the type anim instance. and I guess the default. So if we go into our master AI, the default name is going to be master AI. Max HP is going to be 100. Behavior is not going to be roaming as default. The animation blueprint is going to be master AI animation blueprint. Max run speed is going to be 500. Walk speed 200. And the default blend space is going to be master. I think I just used the player unarmed as the default one. And he doesn't need any attack animations, so that's working there, perfect. And basically what we did, why it's working is, so inside of our, so in the master AI, we are setting this blueprint to the blueprint that we have here. And since we switch that in our details here on our troll, it's automatically setting this blueprint as the blueprint for the troll. So that's why it's working. So that's pretty neat. So basically, so in this function, what we need to set up, we need to set up all kinds of different things, and we should probably do different functions for different things. So yeah, set up AI movement. So in this function, we're just gonna set up the AI movement. And that means we're gonna, in the mesh, we're gonna set max run. No, not the mesh, sorry. In the character movement component, we're gonna set max walk speed. And the max walk speed is the movement of the character. I guess the standard is gonna be the run speed. So the default for our characters is gonna be the run speed, but you can do the walk speed as well if you prefer that. And we are gonna set the yeah, this is where it gets a bit weird, I guess. So we first set up the anim instance class. What we're gonna do then, after we've done that, is get anim instance. Cast 2. Do we need a variable for the different? I'm sorry, because I'm using the epic skeleton for all my characters. I never really set up different animation blueprints. We might be going at it a little bit hard. Maybe we should have done a child. Let me see if I can get this to work, because what we want to do is we want to set the we want to be able to use different blend spaces for different characters. It's working now because since the different because this troll animation blueprint just basically had it's a specific blend space for this specific animation blueprint, but for this the normal, if we're using the epic skeleton for several AI, we don't want to change the blend space necessarily. We only want to change we don't want to change the animation blueprint. We only want to change the blend space. So we still wanna, so basically I do want to try to find a way to do this. So 1 second, I'm gonna pause. Alright, I am back. I didn't really find a good way of doing this, but I guess to be honest, it doesn't really matter, because if we are using different skeletons than the epic skeleton, we probably that's probably gonna be a separate instance of the AI. So I guess it doesn't really matter if we use like, so for instance, if we have, so this is gonna be the rules until I find a better way of doing it. I guess you could probably use the event dispatchers or something like that, but maybe notifiers. So the rules from now on is basically gonna be this. Blend space variable is used if we are doing an AI that has the epic skeleton. If we don't have the epic skeleton, we aren't gonna set a different blend space, because if we don't have the epic skeleton, it's gonna be a separate skeleton, and it's probably gonna be only for that AI, because we're not gonna do like 50 different trolls. We're gonna do one troll basically. Or if we do trolls, if we do like 2 trolls, they are gonna be using the same blend space anyway, and maybe just have different attacks. So, but the reason we might do different blend spaces for different AI with epic skeletons is maybe one might be a spear AI and one might be a sword and shield AI, and then we would need different skeletons or blend spaces for moving with shield and sword, or moving with maybe a two-handed sword. You will see that later. For now, this is fine. This is gonna be a long video, sorry. So we set the animation blueprint. That's gonna be done always, but we're gonna just, as I said, it's not maybe the absolute awesomest way to do it, but it's gonna work. Uses epic skeleton. This might be considered a workaround, but it's gonna work. So uses epic skeleton is gonna be a variable. Master AI, compile everything, and we have this uses epic skeleton. If we are using epic skeleton, we are gonna cast to, if we are using epic skeleton, we're gonna get anim instance, and we're gonna cast to master AI animation blueprint. So basically, if we're using the epic skeleton, we're gonna stick to the master AI animation blueprint. We don't need to change that blueprint because this one is using the animation skeleton. And if we are in this master AI animation blueprint, we have this blend space variable that we made before. By default, it's this player unarmed. We're just gonna set blend space, which is the variable, to this blend space variable. Perfect. And that's it for the AI movement. Set up AI movement. And if we just check this one, the reason it's so you can see here, it's because we have in this the default master AI, I use this BS player unarmed. If we remove this one, it's still working because it's set as the default, sorry, so it's gonna work anyway. It's set as the default in here, so it's always gonna work. But if I remove that one, why is it working now? It shouldn't work now. Default value, clear. There we go. Okay, so now the default is, you can see he's not using any blend space now. So if I go into the master AI and we set the blend space here, BS player unarmed, it's not working. Of course it's not working. master animation blueprint, BS player unarmed, it should be casted. One second, I have no idea why that's not working. Sorry, I'm completely stupid. I just set up this variable myself, so I have no idea why I forgot it. In this, we only set the blend space if we are using the epic skeleton. This variable is true, so the default is obviously gonna be with this uses epic skeleton variable. It needs to be true. So if that variable is true, you can see that he's gonna be using the epic skeleton, but it's false on the troll. So the troll is using its own animation blueprint blend space. So if we go into the troll enemy, we have this, and you can see this is not a variable. He's using this always because we don't have in the troll enemy. That's actually weird because he yeah, okay, yeah. So actually, yeah, it doesn't really matter, because if this is true on the troll, this is gonna be casting failed anyway, so maybe we don't even need that variable, to be honest. We maybe don't even need it because the cast is just gonna fail. But let's just do it anyway, might as well, because a cast is a little bit more expensive than just a bool, so might as well keep it. Okay, hope you are following. This video is confusing, I know. I'm gonna try my best to help people in the comment section. But yeah, hopefully it makes sense. So we have set up the movement. What else do we need to set up? We need to set up the stats. So let's make another function. Set up AI stats. And we're gonna get this one again. And we're gonna break it. And this time we're gonna get the stats. And we only have the HP now. So basically we're gonna set the max HP. But we're also gonna set the current XP or HP, because from the start we want it to be the same. Maybe we don't even need, since this is a variable here, we can just do like this. We can do like that, but since I've already set up the health bar with this variable, I'm just gonna use it for now, and we'll maybe change it later. I don't want to go into that in this video because that's only gonna prolong it. But it should still work with the health bar now. It does, and that means we don't have to so in the master AI, actually, yeah, we're not even calling the function, sorry. Set up AI stats. It's not gonna work now actually when I do this. It's yeah, there we go. So you can see, but it's probably 0, I think. Oh, okay. Ah, yeah, because I set the default value to 100. So perfect, so that's working. We also need to set up the behavior. Set up AI behavior. Once again, we're gonna get the enemy details. we are gonna break it. We're gonna break the behavior details as well. And right now we only have this roaming behavior. And that's actually not one that we need. Oh yeah. So on the, we have this event start roaming here. So we're gonna copy that one, delete it over here. And in this setup AI behavior, we're gonna do a branch before. And if the roaming behavior is true, we're gonna start roaming. If not, we're gonna continue with the false. But this is the only setup for now. So setup AI behavior. And the attack details, we don't have any attacks yet, so let's just hold off on that for now. And that's you can see since the default isn't that they are roaming, that's fine. So here we can see like a perfect example of why this is a nice way to work, because as you can see now, both of them are idling. But if I want this one, I want the troll to roam, then I'm just gonna go into the behavior details and we're gonna enable roaming for him. And he is gonna be roaming and the other one isn't. So as you can see, it's a lot easier. So it's gonna be easier. The more AI we get, it's gonna be a lot easier because, and also you can see that the troll was moving really fast. And we don't want that either. So we go into the movement and the troll is gonna be a maximum of 200. There we go. And you can see that there's a lot of foot sliding in the troll. But so we're just gonna go into, I think I'm gonna increase his movement a little bit. He's still sliding a lot. 1.2 maybe even. Yeah, better. So we have some roaming behavior in the troll. Awesome. A long video, 37 minutes. You can see the basic way we are setting things up. And yeah, as you can see, I've warned people before that this is an advanced tutorial, so I'm gonna keep warning people. It's still fairly advanced, even though I stopped calling it. I think the title now is just RPG or something. So yeah, that's gonna be it for now. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. And yeah, that's gonna be it for now. And we'll see what we'll do in the next video. Peace out.